I want to talk about the importance of decentralizing men. And when I say decentralizing men, no, I don't mean men suck. No, I don't mean men are not useful. And no, I don't mean you should live your life without feeling the love and care of a man. Quite the opposite. Following these tips and tuning into your powerful creative force will actually help you achieve one loving, stable relationship with the ideal man for you. Let's commence. First of all, every woman should understand that what the feminist movement meant, what our foremothers meant for us, is not what is currently happening in society. Our foremothers initially requested equal human rights to men, such as the right to vote, the right to work, etc. After that has been achieved, what women wanted is a life that guarantees a successful life as a woman in terms of work or position in society, irrespective of her marital status. So this is what happened sort of through the 70s up to about the 90s or so. A woman, whether or not she had a husband, she didn't have to worry. That was the intention, that she would not have to worry about what my husband expects of me, what my husband wants to do, how can I make this man take care of me, etc., in order for her survival not to be threatened. And that has also been achieved. Now, unfortunately, in the 90s, things started to fall apart and snowballed from there to the point that we now have independent women, self-sustaining women, women who do everything for themselves, still focusing their lives on what men want. And this is still being promoted in various ways in society, from the time you're a teenager in terms of how you look, how you do your makeup, what job you're going to have, where you should hang out in order to meet men, and all the social media is framed around what men want, what you are expected to look like, what are you expected to talk like, what are you expected to bring to the table, my personal favorite. Now, unfortunately, because of this, women live to be 25, 30, 35, 40 years old, self-sustaining, while still seeing their value through a man's eye. What do men want on dating apps? What are they looking for? Am I pretty enough? Do I dress this way? Will they see me? What do I need to do to be a wife material to a man? Now, in the 60s and 50s, when women were thinking this way, this wasn't a problem in terms of you were thinking this way because you needed that man, or maybe because you didn't have to worry about rent or mortgage or the paycheck. If you thought this way and you were successful in capturing this man, which 90% of women were, the man was a provider to you. But now what's happening is you're still adding this pressure of how to make yourself pleasing to men, in addition to being self-sustaining for sometimes 2 decades after you move out of your home. And this is not possible in terms of sustaining the creative energy while also doing a job, while also looking pretty, staying young, dating, worrying about men. Like, it's not possible for you to create anything from this perspective, to develop yourself, to understand who you are, and to make an actual contribution to the world in terms of where your life path is. You won't have the time or energy or focus to stay on this path that is really your true path to be creative. Now, unfortunately, over the last 50, 60 years, men have not been focused on evolving the same way women have been focused on evolving and gaining their independence and going to the next stage of really our social evolution. Men have been told the same thing. As long as you take basic care of yourself and are producing a large income, you will be rewarded, or you're producing an income that can support a family or support yourself in society. That's all you have to do as a man. And if you look at the majority of men, this is really all they do, and society is completely okay with that. Now, in terms of their needs, those needs haven't changed at all either. Their basic needs, we know what they are. When you're asking yourself, what do men want? They want the same thing they've always wanted. And when you search for your value in their eyes, what you're doing is you're not actually wondering about the person that you are and the person you want to be. If you're wondering what they want, you don't have to wonder too much, because I can tell you, or the internet can tell you, or it's not that hard to figure out. What is hard to figure out is whether or not you want to fulfill that role. And many times women think, if I don't fulfill that role, I won't have a man. If I don't be dressed in a certain way, if I don't act a certain way, then I'll just give up because none of this men will want me. And maybe that's the case for large groups of men. But what I want to say here is, you're not looking for large groups of men who meet your needs, who meet the person that you are. You're really only looking for one. And I think when women go dating now, because everything is online and there's this illusion of options and you have to go on so many dates until you click with someone, you lose sight of that, right? You get rejected by 5 guys, or maybe they're telling you that if you're not going to do the dating process the same way as people do it, as in you're not going to have sex with them after a second date or third date, they're not interested in you, right? So if you're doing the dating process like this and you get rejected 5-10 times, you're going to think there's something wrong with you. You're going to internalize that rejection. But really what is happening is you are not matching with the majority of the male thought out there, which is okay, because you're not looking for the majority, you're only looking for one. In your dating life, if you can put a note and put it on the fridge, if you're single and looking not to be, I'm looking for the one. I'm only looking for one. And understand that your dating life between now and the time you find it has to be controlled by you, based on how you vibrate truly within your being. If you do feel like sleeping with them after the second date, by all means, go ahead and do that. But if you don't feel, but you feel the pressure again to look a certain way or to do certain things, it is a mistake doing it, thinking that those men will return to you the things that you actually want. Decentralizing men simply means you need to change the point of focus of your approach. Where you're approaching your dating life cannot be from their perspective. It has to be from your perspective. Now, I've successfully dated this way 2 times. I was married for 6 years. Unfortunately, my marriage didn't work out for reasons that marriages don't work out. And I am now engaged to be remarried after a few years after my divorce to this wonderful man who's working hard out there. The idea is this: my focus was not on what men want, rather on what contribution can I make to the man that I want. In order to be able to make this contribution, I need to know exactly who that man is. So I need to know exactly what I require of him. What is it in our day-to-day interaction that would make me happy? And speak up in my dating life and stand on these boundaries that have to do with me. I have been ghosted, I have been rejected, I have been told off by several men who in the dating process, in the interaction, they said, well, nobody's gonna wait for you unless, like if you wanna wait to kiss somebody for like 2 months, what are you talking about? Or if you wanna get to know somebody, no, I'm looking to get to know you physically. I'm looking to see if you feel good when I touch you. And to all of those people, unfortunately, if you meet like 5 or 10 people who tell you that, you might start to think, oh my God, I might have to do that. But if you are strong in your feminine, if you are strong in your creative force, and if you are strong in your belief that yes, you will meet somebody who will respect your boundaries, who will see you for the person that you are, and who is looking to have somebody of quality next to him. He needs to be of quality in order to want something of quality. Then, you will wait and you will take this approach from your perspective. Now, if you don't understand this, that even if you give in to those men and do whatever it is that they want, this interaction, unless it's who you really are, will damage you, will damage your energetic system, because in our creative force, we do process other people's energy around our body, and it will leave an imprint on you. So I will do another video on how to love yourself and all the ways in which we actually don't show love to ourselves. We are unkind to ourselves, and I'll link it to this video. Between now and then, I want you to think about what you will change about your mental approach to your dating life.